to another piece of well-produced content here. It's another elevator parts video, and the parts that you're going to see today are a gift I received today from my parents after getting some good exam results. And as the results came in today, and they were very good, so they went and got this present which she'd been keeping hidden for a good while, and it's now been given to me. And a bit of a backstory to it that I've been told. Basically, the listing on eBay that they bought for this stuff only had one of the items you're about to see, and the seller got in contact and said, hey, you bought with us before, you're a collector. And then after a little bit of communication, the seller was like, hey, I've got some little odds and ends here that I can't really sell, do you want those as well? And my mum was like, yeah, sure. So it's more than what was originally advertised on the listing in this one, so it's going to be pretty cool to see. There's also going to be a little bit of parts restoration when you see the parts later on. But anyway, these cars can clear off now, so we can take a look at the parts. And what I'm first going to show you is the part that the listing was actually for. So once I just get this tripod professionally set up, I'll show it. And the listing, if I just make sure I'm going to hold it the right way, is for this right here. That's right, what you're seeing here is a security camera. And the listing said that this came off of a lift. Here's what the top looks like. It's just got a couple of wires here which have been trimmed down. Here's the dome. Here's the glass dome bit right here. And the difficult part here is you can just about see in there. It's hard to see, but there is a camera in there. There is an actual camera in there. It is hard to see, but there is an actual camera in there. Of course it's not turned on, obviously. But there is an actual camera in here, and this is pretty cool right here. It's a slightly different piece to what I usually get, but I think that it is pretty cool. You can just set it like that if you want. So I'm going to move that over just now so we can look at the rest of the stuff. The first piece I'm going to show you right here is this right here, which is the plate and the glass for an Otis floor indicator. It's an external floor indicator, and it's got the glass to it. There's no guts to it, but you can see this rubber behind, and this 4 holes right here is where all the circuitry and fun stuff would be mounted. And what it looks like from the front clearly shows that this would be an Otis indicator. And the plate's in fairly decent condition. There's a little bit of paint here and there, but it's been cleaned up pretty well. So there is the Otis indicator. Alright, let's just, that's going to fall over then, so it can sit like that. And next up we've got a small part that doesn't really do awful much. It's this right here. And I don't know how many of you can just recognise this just in this form. You're probably thinking, what on earth is this? Well, what this is, if you're familiar with old Otis lifts, this is, of course, in a V shape, which means that this is the hole that you would see on the door, on the shaft door, that you put your V key in to open up the shaft doors on an old Otis. I think it's an old Otis anyway, the V keys were on at one point. So on your door, if you just imagine my hand as a lift door, then you'd see the lift door, and then with that on top of it, V key would go right in there, open up the shaft door. So it's just this little plate that would come off the door. It's come off the door. This would probably just be screwed on when on the actual lift. But this is where like I say, that's where the V key would go if you want to open up the shaft doors. So there is that. V key, essentially it's technically just the keyhole for the V key. I don't know what it looks like behind this, but if you need one of these, and I imagine it's not a V shape behind this, so this is probably a necessary part. But anyway, the next part we've got actually kind of continues along with the theme of the previous parts that we got, because we've got some Dewhurst plates. Here we've got, I believe, US 91 EN open and alarm buttons. These are just the plates, like I say, but these are compatible with the incomplete buttons that I got in the last unboxing. If you haven't seen that, be sure to check it out. Information card somewhere up there. But these would fit in quite happily with those, so maybe someday I might decide to swap out one of the 5s for perhaps the open button. And yeah, these are pretty cool. It's nice to see. It's easy to put them in as well. It's all nice and compatible. I suppose it's technically just it's sort of the same fixture line in a sense, just slightly different. But there you go. Door open and alarm. I think these are all used parts, although let's face it, these don't look particularly used, so they might not be used. But yeah, nice Dewhurst parts again. The next part we've got 3 more to go. Now here we have a little Kone KSS 470 button. This one has seen better days. Doesn't click. The side here looks a bit scratched up. Focus. Yeah, the side looks a bit scratched up there. In terms of the circuit board, it all looks fine. I'm not seeing anything with that, but I think the micro switches are kind of done on it because I can't get it to click. So this button's definitely used. It's still pretty cool. Just have a little spare button. Not that it could be used in my panel that I've got wired up or anything, because like I say, it's dodgy. This one's dodgy, so I'm probably not going to be using it. But I won't be using it. But it's cool to see anyway. Yeah. And then the final 2 parts. Firstly, what we've got here, and this one is a Leicester Controls down button. This is just the actual button part itself. This one is slightly damaged because this should normally stay right in, but the clip at the top there is missing. It's there on the bottom one, so there's no worries there, but you can almost press it because it's like that. It's not meant to be like that, so if the clip was on, it would all be fine. This could be using a button, but not in that state. It's not quite in a usable state there. And then our last piece is a pretty poor condition Leicester Controls button. This is actually a complete button, so you can see on the back here if I zoom in. You get your circuit board. This is actually a nice simple circuit board compared to the Kone button. It's just got quite simply switch, light, negative, positive. And then it's got resistors. And it says Leicester Controls BT241320 V0. And it's got screws, so this could be, you could in theory take this apart and have a look at how it's put together, but I'm not going to bother doing that. This is what the front looks like. Like I say, it's quite, it looks in pretty poor condition, but it does still press. It does still press, but the actual button part itself doesn't look in the best condition. So what I think we're going to do with this button right here is, you can see it's in pretty poor condition. I think we should make it a bit better, because let's face it, if we're going to display this, I think it should look a bit better. You know, I think the front here should maybe not look quite as visibly worn as what it is. So what I'm going to do for this, as professional content goes, we're moving the tripod again. What I think we're going to do with this is, I think we're going to try and just colour in some of this, just a little, try and avoid the braille or the arrow, and just see what we can do with it. Now, the easiest way I feel to definitely clean this up a good amount, I mean, it would be slightly better if we could take this button out, but I think for this I'm just going to rely on my precision abilities, which can lack sometimes, and we are going to use our old favourite, one of these, permanent marker, and we're just going to see how this goes really. Camera steady shot's adjusted, which is brilliant. Look at that adjustment. I thought I'd adjusted that perfectly and then it went out, but hopefully now we're all good. So what I'm thinking is, I'm just going to try colouring it in, and well, you can watch me do it, and hopefully I don't make a right mess up of that. So here we go. think that's about done. It doesn't look particularly good in that light right now, just the way it is, but as soon as the permanent marker dries up we'll see the results, so it'll just take a couple of minutes to dry up, but I think it's going to look pretty neat. I mean, if you hold it in that light, you can already see it does look quite a lot better. There's a couple of scratches that I just can't quite get to because of like the arrows or the brails or stuff, because I don't really want to get any marks over those. You see, I did get a little bit on the arrow and a little bit on a couple of the brails, but I think overall that's turned out pretty good. I'm just going to let the marker dry up a little bit more. But I think I've done that not too bad. It certainly looks a whole heap better than what it did before, and I think outside of the studio lighting, just some like regular lighting, just in my room and that, it's going to look very nice indeed. And yeah, I think that's extremely better compared to what it was before. I'll just let the marker dry out the rest of the way. The other button, there's just a little bit I can maybe do to it, so I'll just quickly do that off camera. But in the meantime, I'll let you just appreciate this new button, or this improved button. You can have it in that angle and you can see how it looks in different light, but I'm just going to very quickly just touch up the down button a little. Just a quick little touch up that I need to do to it, just to fill in a couple of little marks, a couple of little scuffs and scrapes that it got into during its life on the Lester Controls lift. There we go, that's the down button touched up a little. And hopefully it'll look a little bit better now as well. But I think in terms of the restoration of these parts, that's that done. Like I say, in the light you can see clearly where I've coloured in. It does look a little bit better. Like I say, still a couple of scuffs just where I don't want to do it just in case I accidentally hit the arrow, but I think the marker's drying up now. Is it? Let's see. Not quite. Still just got a little bit to do to dry up. I think I've actually taken a bit off by doing that. Hold on, yeah, I've taken a little bit the marker off, I think. Let me just quickly touch that back up. And then by the time that I'm finished the video, we should be good to go with it. That's that one touched up a little. It's still a little bit there, but it's like got a few like dents and things in it, I think. Touch this one up just a little bit better off camera. Yeah, a couple of the scrapes in this one are just in where I can't reach with this permanent marker. So, ooh, I smell permanent marker now. This time when I'd want the video it'd be 4D, so I could give you the smell, but I think we're almost there now. Just because I can, I'll just fill in that top bit just to make it all look a bit nicer. Yeah, there's a couple, just where the braille is, I just can't quite get right close to it, but that's understandable because I don't want to cover up the brails with permanent marker. But for the most part it looks a bit better now. And if I had the ability to go right up to the brails without completely covering them in permanent marker, I would. But yeah, for the most part, that's that button now finished. Looks a lot better now. I mean, I know it doesn't look it because the permanent marker you can still kind of see the scrapes with, but when you show it like that, I mean, yeah, it just looks a whole load nicer now. And I think that's going to be good for displaying. Like I say, I did catch the arrow just a little bit, but it shouldn't be. That's not going to be the end of the world, and I think it's come out nice. I've got a bit of permanent marker on my finger, which is helpful. Look at that. Permanent marker. Focus. No focus? Okay, be like that. Be like that then, don't focus. So let's get all these parts together then and see what we can do. Gonna look at this camera first to see how I want to show it, because when I show it like that, that's gonna do that. So I need to show it upside. I need to show it like this. There's like the main piece. This is the actual piece that was offered under the listing. Oops, here's the Otis indicator, like so. You've got the Dewhurst there, V key there, with the Kone button, the Leicester up button, which has been restored by permanent marker, and the Leicester down button. So then, with that being said, that's going to conclude this little video. Hope you enjoyed it, and of course let me know in the comments things like what your favourite part out of all of these was. I know a lot of people might go for the security camera, or perhaps, I don't know, maybe the Kone button, or maybe even those Leicester buttons now that it's been restored to not look nearly as scratched up as it did before. And I want to thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe and like and all that good stuff, just those casual things that YouTubers always say, because why not, let's just say those as well. I'm just making sure that that's nice and good for the photo. Anyway, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what your favourite part is. I might put a poll card up somewhere. Probably too late for it now because they'll be too close together, but anyway, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. So for this one, that will be it, and I hope you enjoyed.